Hello, students. Welcome to the last part and the final part of our understanding. And before I continue, welcome to Study Wave Academy, where education is without limits. So, as I'm saying, welcome to the last part of our class, where we are going to continue looking at the letter work for kindergarten students, and majorly we're talking about adjectives. So, a brief review before I continue. In all our lessons and all the activities we've had, we've looked at adjectives, what adjectives are. I've given examples of adjectives in sentences, and I'm making you understand what adjectives are, and specifically the meaning of adjectives. I looked at a type of an adjective here, and it's the common adjectives. I've talked about what a common adjective is. I've given examples in sentences. I've given very many examples so that one can understand what common adjectives are, and from there I moved on to how we can identify these adjectives. So if you have a sentence, or you're listening to someone talk, how can you identify the use of adjectives in these sentences? So I looked at that too, and after looking at how to identify adjective, I moved on to adjectives that describe color and shape, and this is where we are. So I started with adjectives of color. I gave you different colors and how to even go about using these colors in sentences. After looking at adjectives of color, I came and looked at adjectives of shape, and I talked about them, gave you examples of shapes, different shapes, and how to use them. So after introducing you to adjectives of color and shape, I went ahead to now look at the color adjectives specifically in sentences. So I gave a color and gave a sentence along it. So I gave you very many examples of colors. We looked at the color red, and I also looked at few sentences to help or show you how you can use color adjectives in sentences. And I gave you simple sentences. So I talked about the color red, blue, green. I went ahead and talked about yellow, purple, orange, pink, and moved on to shapes and looked at the shapes, and this is where we are now. So we're going to be discussing about shapes in sentences. So I'm going to be giving you a shape, and after giving you this shape, I give examples in sentences, and so we can be able to understand how to use them or how to go about this in our day-to-day activity and whatever we do. Okay, so the shape adjectives in sentences. So I'm talking about the first shape here, round. The moon is round sphere in the night sky. She baked cookies that were perfectly round. So you're not looking at just any other cookie or any other moon, but you're specifically talking about she made some round perfect cookies. They were not crooked but round. So with shapes too, you're able to be to get this clear picture of what you're being talked about, you're being taught. Square is also another shape. The room has a square table in the center. The tiles on the floor are arranged in a square pattern. So when someone tells you about some room or this room, you're able to see that center table, but you just don't see any other table but a square table. Okay, so the idea behind shapes is to give a vivid picture or a clear picture about the item someone is talking about. Next, we'll look at triangle and oval. The traffic sign had a triangular shape. She cut the sandwiches into triangle halves. Another shape, oval. The mirror in the hallway is oval shaped. The eggs are oval, not perfectly round. Now, these two shapes also, when someone is using them in a sentence, you're able to get a clear picture, a vivid picture on what is being said or the item that is being talked about. Okay, let's move on and look at more shapes here. Rectangular. Now here's an example in a sentence. The bookshelf is tall and rectangular. The rectangular window offers a view of the garden. Now here, you're not just talking about any window or any window that looks like any other shape, but you're being specific and talking about a rectangular window. And the bookshelf, you're being specific and talking about a rectangular bookshelf, heart-shaped. She received a heart-shaped pendant as a gift. They baked a heart-shaped cake for Valentine's Day. Now, with this, what I'm just trying to say specifically is that with shapes, you're able to paint a picture of how the items look. So you, in your mind, as someone is telling you about some Valentine cake they ate a cake that was heart in shaped. Now you're able to picture the cake they were eating and see the cake in a perfectly shaped heart, okay? So class, the main idea of learning about shape and color adjectives is that we want to see the color or the shape more vividly. We want to see the item in a clear manner or a very clear pattern, okay? So that is majorly what shape adjectives entail. So just going back to the color and shape adjectives and what color and shape adjectives are. So color and shape adjectives are valuable for adding details to descriptions, allowing you to paint a picture or a more vivid picture in your writing or speech. They are commonly used in everyday language to convey specific attributes of objects and make communication more precise. Now, the main idea here that we're talking about is that color and shape adjectives are essential, or they're very important for adding details to descriptions. So they allow a reader or someone who is listening to you paint a clear picture in their writing or what they're listening to. So in our everyday today life, we use these examples, we use these adjectives. You're talking to your mom that you love the blue shirt they bought you, or you love the green shoes they bought you, or you love the white shoes they bought you. So the main idea is to paint a vivid picture, and that's why we're learning about them. So this is different from the common adjectives that we were talking about. I talked about common adjectives being words that are used frequently. Like, these are words that you just speak them frequently, and maybe sometimes you don't even notice you use them. For example, I gave examples like big, small, happy, the big cat is doing this, or the small boy has done this. So the main idea behind these common adjectives or adjectives of shape and color is to just provide a vivid picture or a clear picture. So if you're talking about a house, or you're talking about a boy, you're talking about a small boy or a big house. So if you're telling someone that you met this young boy or a small boy or a short boy or a short man, you see, now the person at the back of their mind, they're able to see a clear picture of what you're talking about. They're able to see a clear picture of the person you're talking about. So the main idea of adjectives is to just provide more description and modify the noun. So you just don't give plain sentences. For example, I will go back and give you an example here. Example of the red apple is delicious. Look at this entire sentence. So if I was just to say the apple is delicious, the sentence would still perfectly make sense, but it would be a common sentence, just a dull sentence. But when I add the word red, the red apple is delicious. Now you're able to, in your mind, you're not just seeing any apple and any delicious apple, but you're seeing specifically a red apple, okay? So that's the idea. The red apple is delicious. So in your mind, you're able to paint the picture of a red apple, and as I'm telling you my story or what I ate or the apple I ate, you're able to specifically see a red one, not any other apple, not a green one, not any other apple, but just a red one. Another example I gave is a big teddy bear, or the big teddy bear is soft. So in your head, if I'm talking to you about maybe I bought a teddy bear, so you just don't see any teddy bear, but you see a big teddy bear and a soft one. So the teddy bear is big and also soft. So the idea behind adjective is to just give us a clear, vivid picture, and that is all. This will count to our definition here, where we say an adjective is a word that describes or modifies a noun. It provides more information about the noun by giving details about its size, shape, color, texture, or other qualities. Now, adjectives, they're just words that provide more description about the noun. They tell us about the shape of this noun, the color of this noun, the size, the texture. When we talked about this doll here, what was the texture? It was soft, okay? What was the size? It was big, you see? Now, they're telling us about the size, the shape, the texture. When we're talking about the apple here, what was the apple? It was a red apple, not just any other apple, but red. So basically, we will continue looking at adjectives in our, as we continue growing. We look at the size adjectives, we look at the adjectives that show origin, okay? There are a lot of adjectives that, and we will look at each one of them and discuss each one of them. So, but our main class today, we were talking about the common adjectives, where I told you this common adjectives, they're just adjectives that are frequently used. We frequently hear people talk about them, we frequently hear people discuss them. And examples I gave: the word big, small, happy, sad, beautiful, ugly, fast, slow, hot, cold, tasty, spicy, noisy, quiet, colorful. Now class, if you hear or listen to these adjectives, I know you've come across them, and you've had people, when people are talking, they will bring them up. So these are just common adjectives, and we even looked at how to identify them. But if you compare the common adjectives and the ones we looked at, the adjectives of color and shape, these ones are also they provide details that are specific. They tell us what color is the item, what shape is the item. So if you're told to search for my lost pen, I won't just be looking for any other pen, but I'll be looking for a specific. Maybe you told me your pen was a blue one or a red one, so I'll be searching for a specifically blue pen or a red pen. So I know what I'm searching for. I'm specific. So I gave even examples of, we looked at the color adjectives first. I gave you first examples of colors. I gave you the color red, blue. I gave you another color, green, yellow, purple, orange, pink. These were all colors we looked at. And then I also came to shapes and discussed examples of shapes, where I talked about the square shape, the triangle, the oval, the rectangular, the heart shaped, and even went further and talked about adjectives in sentences. So when I'm talking about the color adjectives, I gave you examples when they appear in sentences. I told you the examples, such as red. I gave an example in a sentence. Blue, green. I did that for color adjective, and I also did that for shape adjectives. I gave you the shape, round, square, and I attached sentences to it. The main idea was to help you understand how to use them, understand what adjectives are, and even learn for yourself, okay? So I will leave you with an activity class, and I want you to, this is the class activity, and I want you to do it. And with this, when you do it, you will be able to understand what adjectives are and even gain more knowledge. And now you'll be good at identifying adjectives. You won't have difficulty identifying adjectives in any sentence you have. So the activity here is write a short story. And in this story, let me just do that. I was using short forms, and I'm trying to correct my short form here. So with this activity, I want you to write a short story that you will present to class. So you write the story, and later you will present the story to class. It's just a simple story, and in this simple story, I want you to talk about yourself. When you're talking about yourself, tell us what you want to be when you grow up, your favorite sport, what fun activities do you like to do, or what fun activities do you love doing? Do you love swimming, skating, whatever you love doing? So talk about yourself. Talk about what you want to be when you grow up, your favorite sport, what fun activity, anything you want to add. So these are just examples of what I want you to talk about, but you can add anything. Talk about what you love, your favorite clothes to wear. And as you talk about this, I want you to make sure that you use adjectives in your writing and present. And even when you're presenting to the class and your fellow members, I want you to make use of the adjectives. Use the common adjectives we've learned more specifically, and also use the color and shape adjectives too. So when you're presenting, I want to hear this when you're talking, and I want to I want to see you use adjectives in your presentation. So as we wind up class, I'm so grateful to come to the end of this lesson, and I feel nice to be your teacher. So thank you so much.